Hello fellow modelers, let's continue with part 4 of our build of the Fi-167A reduced to 1/72nd scale from 133. Let's begin. Before we do the canopy assembly, I just want to show you basically what the models look like so far, and I'm pretty much loving it. So here we go with cutting out where we will put our thin plastic sheet. It's just basically cutting out where the plastic would be, and this can be from the plastic found in envelopes. It can be from shrink wrap. It could be anything that you find that's thick enough. Even gift wrap paper can work. So once I cut the basic frame out, before I would then roll it in the palm of my hands, and this way we get an accurate curve. And now we're going to cut out template. So what I have used is a shrink wrap that I got from a discarded package. I then try to put in place and then tack the edges using super glue. So once I get one side down, I roll carefully and then apply super glue to the other end. And pretty much this is how I do my canopy. Slowly try to maintain that curvature, and pretty much that's it. Now once I've gotten it completed, I will then just cut that rear part off here, and that's how we achieve the curve at the tail end of that canopy. A little bit of super glue we put on the edge, and then there you go. A little super glue underneath, and the other side is joined. Nice. And then pretty much it's the same process I use to do the windshield. I truly enjoy building this model. It reminds me so much of the British version of a torpedo bomber, which is the famous string bag, the swordfish. So after I lay the framework of the windshield on the clear plastic, shrink wrap, cut the edges off, and then using my tweezer, bend and fold where it needs to be folded. Put carefully in position, secure in place using super glue, and we are good to go. Now this is an incredibly awesome kit. Now I have not seen any other card model kit done, and this is the only one I know that MAREK has developed. And sorry for butchering his name, I hope I didn't, but MAREK has produced some pretty awesome models that you can get, and it's easy enough to build. So on to the main landing gear assembly. Here I present cartridge stock, black cardstock. So I do it a bit different. I cut only the frame and put that aside. Then we're going to make our wheel. Now here you see I am marking 2mm strips. Cut the strips off. Then I'm going to get a toothpick, and on that toothpick I will start to slowly roll the cardstock on, make sure keeping it level until I get to the thick enough portion. Use super glue to hold everything in place. Once dry, cut the edges off, put it in my Dremel rotary and sandpaper down. This is one of the most easiest and most beautiful way to produce your wheels. Cut the edges off, secure it to the framework, cut the hubs off, paint the edges of the wheel. Once dry, we make it work. Now onto the fairing. The fairing is the other incredibly distinctive part of the Fi-167A. It reminds me so much of a hawk talon, if you look on it. And then spend time building the lower portion of the fairing. Once we get this, we're now using the tip of our brush handle to put a curve in the edge, leading edge of the fairing. Put a little glue, put a bit of bond paper, which is regular typing paper, cut that strip, and then onto that now, we're going to put the other side, which we apply a little glue onto, and then hold into place. Take your time doing it. What is shown here for 6 seconds probably took me 20 minutes. And then we attach. This is the other part that really made the model really attractive. It's the hawk-like look of the landing gear fairing. Here you see I'm attaching the wheel hub, both sides, and then I insert into the fairing. Nice. Now to secure it, I just simply put a bit of toothpick where it's supposed to be, guide the fairing where it is, and then secure with super glue. Here now we just put on the fairing between the joint of the landing gear and the wing. Lovely. Starting to look so good, so good. Well, if you need to know more, you can find so much on my YouTube channel. You just take a quick browse and maybe even consider subscribing, and even more, help me build more models by sponsoring me on Patreon. I would love to do this full time. I can always dream, can't I? Anyway, cheers, and let's get back to our modeling. So the braces, all I simply did, that's the part where the brace would be, is to use toothpick, cut it to the desired length. There we have it. And then we use a nail file, disposable nail file, shave it down and put in place. And that's pretty much it. Once we check it, we glue, we put in position, and there you have it. Do the other side, and we're good to go. This we will paint later on. Spend the time to find the correct color of the underside, and we get it done. Nice. Nice. Really love how this is coming out. The stabilizer brace, it's a simple cut, fold, glue the tip, and put in place. Should not be difficult. I really appreciate this model. It is simple enough, yet still striking, and at this scale, even look almost like those plastic model kits. What I do love about MAREK models is that they are simple enough and yet still realistic enough. Like he found the perfect balance of how to do this model. And I know that there are several authors who can do this, but I really took an affinity to when I have some of his models. You can find these on eCard Models, Zarkov, and many other websites. So now let's do the tailwheel assembly. Everything you see I do here is being doubled. The framework is being doubled. The wheel, I have doubled the thickness of it. And then we just cut the framework, double the framework, and here we cut out the tail wheels. And here we put the tail wheel on, a little paint into the edge to make it a little more realistic. Cut out the tail wheel fairing, and that's we're going to now fold and attach. So I use my silver marker, bore some guide holes, put the tail wheel in, super glue it in place, and then add the fairing. And there you have it. Pretty much we have our Fi-167, the main plane and body created. Just some finishing touches with paint to the landing gear struts and we're good to go. Thank you so much for following me. Thank you so much for all your support. And pretty much we have maybe 1 or 2 more episodes to go and we have our complete models. Until then, my friends, take care, walk good, and above all, one love.